Hey guys! So today you and I are going to talk about web development companies. So let's get into it. So the question in question was, Frederick, do you ever think about starting your own company? And how do you think about people, or what advice do you have to people who want to start their own web development firm? So this is a good question. The short answer is that yes, I have. I might. And I think that you should have the experience to work in this industry before you start your own company. So for me, yes, you may have suspected, considering that I don't actually try to monetize any of this little hobby of mine or stuff like that. Money doesn't mean all that much to me. And I'm not a businessman at heart. It's not something that I actively pursue for the sake of wealth. It's something that I would do just because it's fun, most likely. I would, because at some point, and this is an issue, this is a big personal issue for me, it's getting harder and harder to find employment options where I feel like I'm still developing as a programmer, because that is the thing that is truly important to me, to continuously improve my own skills and get better and better and better at what I do. And that is harder. It is getting tough. So one way of doing that would be to start my own company and see how having that sort of role would affect me and how I would deal with that sort of thing. And for me to do something like that, it would basically come down to either I would build something in my spare time, like a product company type of thing. I invent something just because it's fun, and then it just turns out that, hey, I can actually get some people who want to pay for this. And in my scenario, I would argue that the way to go to deal with such a business model would be to start out as a in this case, one-man company, and then hire one single junior with a bit of potential to mentor and train in order to help me sustain this product, so that I get some time to both develop and to find customers for this product. That would be something I could get an intimate relationship, because you pay them a little bit less than you would have, because you can't afford. I mean, I couldn't afford it in the beginning, right? To pay them a lot of money, but in return they actually get mentoring from someone who can help them improve their skills, right? The other part is that I would personally start up a consultancy, where I start working towards some of the bigger customers, and you start out basically with a one-person consultancy, and then you can actually hire fairly quickly, because there's quite a lot of good money in this. You can fairly quickly hire a bunch of juniors and do the same thing, and start overseeing and basically becoming a one-team consultancy, where I would then manage most of the people and find customers and so forth, until you earn enough money to hire a salesperson or something like that, and then you can kind of take it from there. And I would give the same sort of advice to someone who wants to start their own business in IT, to start their own web development firm. But I will raise my finger and I will say that I think that you should have a bit of experience before you try this. I'm stating that around 5 years, I'm not saying minimum, but at around 5 years, ideally more, of actual corporate level in like professional grade software development experience is fairly important here, both so that you can create a bit of a name for you in your region and create some connections, and above all else, actually learn the ropes of the industry. Because one thing that I see quite often with people who go into freelancing very early on is that they can make a living, but it's very hard for them to acquire bigger clients and bigger customers, because they simply sometimes they don't have the technical skills, but they don't have the know-how of the industry to know what these bigger, more prestige, like the richer customers actually want and what they need. And that makes it very hard for you to scale your company above being a one-person or maybe even just two-person company. And if your goal is to make a successful business, that's the goal that you need to have in mind. Most of the successful consultancies and agencies, they have their own offices, and they have fairly big customers. And they take on all kinds of jobs, but they always have a few of these larger customers that they work towards that keeps the lights on in the building. So what I want you to take away from this is that if you want to start your own IT company or your own web development firm, I highly recommend that you spend a few years within the industry just learning the ropes. Around 5 years should be a good indicator that you have enough experience to start going into your own type of thing. And then it's usually a very nice segue into having your own company by just starting up a consultancy, starting to earn some cash from the connections that you have made with these bigger corporations. And then you start out with the mindset that you mentor less experienced juniors, because they're usually cheaper and they can actually produce code if they are supervised. Like, you can make money from this if you just supervise them, and then you build your business from there. And this is actually one of the ways, or I would say the most common way, that most consultancies work, and there are quite a lot of successful consultancies out there in the industry. Have a great day.